Peace and Yah bless. Yah is a strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's a tree of life. He's a fountain of living waters. He's a spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, I'm going to talk about the third temple, where it belongs and where it's supposed to go. Okay, in Jerusalem upon Mount Moriah. Okay, now as you can see here, this is the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, also called the Haram al-Sharif. Okay, they call it that also. It's called many things, all right? Where this gold dome right here is located is where the third temple will have to be erected, okay? Someday in the future, upon the Temple Mount, in its correct location, where it belongs, okay? Where our great patriarch King Solomon built the first temple, okay? And the second temple, built by Zerubbabel and Ezra, their movement, was also on top of Mount Moriah. You see it says Mount Moriah right there, okay? So they know that that's where Solomon's temple, his great temple, the first temple, was built. So we know absolutely that, these edifices that you see, okay, do not belong there, okay? We'll go there in a second. Now, Second Chronicles, all right, go there in your book, chapter 3, okay? Now listen very closely. Then Solomon began to build the house of the Lord, Yah, right, at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah, okay, where Yah appeared unto David his father, in the place that David had prepared the threshing floor of Onan the Jebusite, okay, if you know that history, all right, you know what that's talking about. It's the same spot, okay? Now, Solomon began to build the house of the Lord, the first temple in Mount Moriah, okay? All right, go right here. You see it right there, Mount Moriah, okay? Where this gold dome is now that does not belong there, okay? Doesn't belong there. Now, so let's look at the history, okay? Let's look at the history, all right? Now, we know when you go to Daniel, open your books to Daniel chapter 11, and go to verse number 45, right? Okay. Now you see here it's talking about the king of the south and the king of the north, okay? Because they're having a war, okay? These two factions right here. But the king of the south is the one who plants his tabernacles, okay? That's talking about right here, okay? Now listen closely. And he, which is the king of the south, shall plant the tabernacles of his palace, right? Between the seas in the glorious holy mountain, right, of Yah, right? Yet he shall come to his end and none shall help him. Talking about the king of the south, which represents Islam and does represent Islam today. Represents that power, okay? But as you can see, they placed what? They placed their tabernacle. Tabernacles. It's more than a dome and a rock that's up there. Dome and a chain, all our mosque, all kind of things are up there, okay? So they placed their tabernacles on top of here. They're not supposed to be there, okay? But this is just predicting that they would do that. This king of the south will place their tabernacles on top of the holy mountain where King Solomon's temples once sat, okay? The first temple and the second temple, okay? Now, when it says that between the seas, it's talking about the Dead Sea or the Salt Sea and also the Mediterranean Sea. So in between the seas is what? Jerusalem. Okay? So this prophecy is spot on, man. Okay? It's spot on. In between the two seas right here. Okay? That's why it's plural in verse 45 of Daniel 11. In between the seas in Jerusalem, okay? This king of the south, right? Okay? Or it represents Islam, right? Would do what? They would plant their tabernacles, okay, of their palace between the seas, right? The Mediterranean Sea, right? Okay? And the Dead Sea in the glorious holy mountain, okay? Yet he should come to his end and none shall help him. Later in the future, right? Okay? Because the only thing that's going to be worshipped in Israel is going to be Yah, YHWH, okay? And nothing else, okay? So I just wanted to prove that and show that. And you see how it says Solomon built the temple, okay? In Mount Moriah, okay? All right? So now you know the history of that, why this particular edifice and the many others that are up there are sitting on top of the Temple Mount. They do not belong there. They do not have the actual right to have them there because they do not actually have stewardship over the Temple Mount. Really, the stewardship belongs to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Israel. Okay? That's who the stewardship really it belongs to. Because right now they got the Jordanians and what's called the WAF. Okay, I think it's WAQF, something like that. The WAF, they basically, control the Temple Mount today because the Israelis gave the actual control over to them after the 1967 war. When I would look at history, I never can figure out why the Israelis did that. It's like, why did they, if they went in there and they defeated those three armies, right? Basically, Islamic armies, right? Egypt and Jordan and Lebanon or Syria, whoever was coming at them in the 1967 war, right? If they defeated them, then why did they give control back to an Islamic nation like Jordan? Okay? And let the WAF administer, basically have administration over what happens up there. Okay? Didn't make any sense to me. Okay? Because that's the main focal point of coming back to the land of Israel is to build the house of the Lord, the house of Yah. Okay? As we supposed to say, the house of Yah. That's the main point of coming back to the land of Israel. There really is no, when we come back to the land, that's our main job. That's why you have Ezekiel chapter 40 through 48 telling you what the dimensions of the house are. That's given to the whole house of Israel. Okay? Because the plans of the first temple were transmitted from Yah to David and from David to Solomon. The tabernacle was transmitted to Moses only. Okay? But if you notice in Ezekiel chapters 40 to 47, he gives the dimensions to the whole house of Israel, meaning everybody can go look at it and see what it's supposed to look like. All right? But that's the history of how this gold dome got up there and everything else they have up there not supposed to be there. But it predicted it was going to happen, that they were going to do it, this king of the south, which represents Islam. It predicted they would do that, okay? Okay? He is talking about the king of the south. They would plant their tabernacles of his palace, right? Their stuff, right? Between the seas, the Dead Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, in the glorious holy mountain. Okay? As you can see right here, tells you just that. Mount Moriah. See, they know. Okay, this is a known fact. It's just most people don't know because they haven't read the book of Daniel to understand or know who the king of the south actually is or who the king of the north is. Dealing with, I think, Alexander the Great and his forces. Okay? All right? But very important to know this history and know what happened with this. Okay? Very important to understand that. See, it says Mount Moriah, Israel. All right? All right. On the glorious holy mountain. It predicted they would plant those tabernacles up there, and that's what happened. Okay? Now you see right here, this is a Temple Mount schematic. What does it say right there? Moriah. Mount Moriah. See, they know. Okay? They know. They know. And then what do you see? The Haram Sharif. Okay? Or Al Sharif, however you want to say it. Okay? They know. And they probably known a good long time. Okay? All right? But their edifices do not belong up there. Okay? They don't belong on top of the Temple Mount. Okay? Doesn't matter what they have. They really have anything to say about it because history itself tells us that it doesn't belong up there. Okay? Like I said, I don't know why the Israelis gave administration over to the Jordanians. They should have known that if they were reading the book. They would have known that. Okay? So you see right there, it says Moriah. Okay? And you see this is this gold dome right here. And it's more than just that. It's other things up there too. Dome of the Chain, Dome of the Rock, all that stuff up there, okay? Because this is called the Mosque of Omar right here, okay? All right? But very important history, man. But you see, it says Moriah right there. Moriah. Let me get all the way up close to it as I can. Moriah, okay? All right, well, what does it tell you right here in the Bible? Proves it. Chapter 3 of 2 Chronicles. Then Solomon began to build the house of the Lord. Yeah, right at Jerusalem, right? In the Mount of Moriah. Same place right here. This is where the first temple was built. And where the second temple was built. Okay? And then all the way down to the time of Herod till it got torn down by the Babylonians, 70 AD. All right? Then sometime in history, guess what popped up? That gold dome, as it tells you in Daniel 11, verse number 45, that they would set their tabernacles there. And they did just that. Okay? So this right here proves that that's the spot, and that's where the temple, the third temple, must be built. Can't be built anywhere else or any other country or any other place in Israel. Because people are saying Jerusalem's in a whole different spot than where it is today. No, Jerusalem is where the Temple Mount is, where Mount Moriah is. See, it says Moriah right there. Let me bag up a little bit. Y'all can see this whole thing, okay? That's Jerusalem. Okay, this is what they call the wall, the Western Wall, and all that right here, okay? See right there? Moriah. Okay? Go to the Bible. Moriah. Okay, same thing. At Jerusalem. What is this? Jerusalem. Okay, Moriah. Well, what's sitting there? That's their edifice right there. That's their palace that sits up there that they go worship at. It's not supposed to be up there. Okay, and that's for the Jordanians and anybody else. Palestinians, Syria, Iraqis, Iran, whoever, man. It doesn't matter what Muslim faction, that doesn't belong there. Okay, if they want to worship in Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, well, then that's cool. But someday the third temple has to be erected on top of the Temple Mount. We have the history to back it up. That's why I'm letting you guys see that way, way ahead of time. Okay? All right? Don't worry, it's going to happen. And I'll be allowed to see it happen. All praise to God. Yah, the Holy One of Israel. All right? Because I only praise his name alone. Nothing else, man. All right? He'll be with me no matter what happens. So we'll get to do this work. And the work going to continue on no matter what peace deals they make. No matter what peace deals they make. They can come on TV and shake hands, do all they want to do. This still going to come about. A third temple upon Mount Moriah. Okay, did you see over in Ezekiel chapter 40 through 48? Go pick the book up and read, you guys. All right? Put you guys into action. Go pick the book up and read. See it, Mount Moriah at Jerusalem. Solomon began to build the house of the Lord, the first temple. Okay? All right? Where Yah had appeared unto David his father in the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor, or Ornan, the Jebusite, because Ornan was the one he purchased it from, okay? All right? Because this used to be a threshing floor way back in the day where they threshed wheat at, okay? All right? All right. So thank you guys for listening, okay? So I want to give you guys a little bit of history on Temple Mount, okay? Remember, between the seas, Jerusalem, between these two seas. So you know exactly what the Most High was talking about when he made mention of Solomon's temple, okay? All right? That's what was built there, okay? On top of the Temple Mount. And that's what's going to get built there again in the future, okay? I know that causes friction, but I have to tell you. Thank you guys for listening to me. Go read your book of remembrance, okay? Peace, and God bless.